Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing really well this evening or whatever time it is that you are listening to this. I am actually driving in my car right now. Hands-free, don't worry. But, I mean, not hands-free driving, obviously. I realize how that just sounded. I meant my phone is not in my hands. Anyways, I am doing this now because A, it's a time I have time to do it, and B, because it's something to keep me busy while I'm driving, and it's a bit of a long drive tonight. I literally 5 minutes ago almost hit a deer, came within, it couldn't have even been 2 inches of hitting a deer. That I'm still like shook up. Damn deer, I'm telling you. Anyways, so I wanted to tell you guys a couple things. I have been getting a couple emails from subscribers, and some of them are super short, like not enough at all to fill an entire video, but nonetheless really interesting things I think you all would be interested in hearing as well. So I was going to tell you about one of those, a couple of those actually, because they're so short that I pretty much memorized them. And then I was going to let you know that once we reach 1,000 subscribers, which is going to be very soon at the rate we're going right now, thanks to all of you, we will be able to do lives. I will be able to go and record live. And I was wondering if you guys were interested in that, or if you like the format I do it now. But I just thought maybe if we did a live, it would be a little more interesting. It would be more like a radio broadcast, like a podcast type thing, where you can interact with each other, and you can interact with me and ask questions back and forth. I thought it might be a unique way to do it. I don't know why. I've never really seen a channel that deals with anything like this ever go live. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great way to interact with the community that and share ideas and stuff like that. Also, if you have an encounter you would like to share with me, you can go ahead and send an email to me, and you can remain anonymous. You do not have to give your name. You do not have to tell me anything you don't want to tell me. If you just want to send an email and just the encounter without even a name attached, that's completely fine. I won't even read off your email or anything like that, I promise. You can send it to thedogmantapes@gmail.com. All one word. Super simple. thedogmantapes@gmail.com. So this one encounter I wanted to tell you guys about was sent to me by a subscriber. She didn't want me to tell her name, so I'm not going to tell her name. But it was a very, very quick encounter that she had a couple years ago. But she thought, I'll just go ahead and send it in anyways. And, if you want to share it, you can, which I do. So, and thank you for that, for sending that in to me. So this girl, at the time, she was younger. She was working as a camp counselor, and it was in the summertime. I am not 100% sure of the location. I want to say somewhere on the East Coast, but I'm not 100% on that. Anyway, she was working as a camp counselor, and she said she had been at this camp. This was her second year there, and at the end of last year, the last year she had done it, there was an instance where a little boy had come and was extremely upset, had told all the camp counselors that he had seen a monster, and it was walking like a man, and it looked like a massive dog, and it was snarling at him from across the lake. And she said everybody thought he was just, maybe not making it up, but maybe had seen something else and just elaborated maybe. She's like, but it stuck with me because the kid was so terrified. He was so, like, petrified. You could just tell all over his face and the way he was acting that he was petrified. She's like, so that kind of stuck with me and kind of bothered me, and I always wondered what did he see. And she says, so next year comes, and she's there. She's been there for about a week, and she is down by a dock, I guess, some sort of dock on the lake, and she is setting up water balloons that they were going to do with the kids down by the lake. They were going to have some sort of water balloon fight, and she said it was getting late. It was getting late in the day, and it was something they were going to do in the morning, and her, I guess, supervisor told her, go ahead and just take them down there so that they're ready when we take the kids down there in the morning. So she had been down there with somebody else. They got called away to go do something, and she was left by herself. She said it was getting late. It was past 9 p.m. The sun was pretty much gone down, but she had one of those little flashlight things that you wear around your head. They had given them to all the camp counselors, and so she had enough light to do what she was doing, and she said the dock was also lit with one small light. And she said all of a sudden she began to feel like she was being watched, and she said it was a really strange feeling. She said so much so to the point that she actually called out. She thought maybe her friend who had gone to do something had come back and was, like close by. So she called out to that person, but nobody answered her. And so she said she wanted to just get this done and get out of there and get back to her cabin. And she heard a splash in the lake. So she looked up. She called out. She was like, nobody should have been in the lake. This is strictly all property of the camp. And, none of the camp counselors would have been out there at that time. It just wasn't a camp like that where people would be out sneaking around doing stuff. Plus, these were, I think, kind of younger kids, like maybe 12 and under, so they probably wouldn't have done that. She's like, so I was really like, okay, who is this and what is this? She's like, so I stood up and I began to look out. It wasn't that big of a lake. And she said you could see the other end of the lake from where she was standing on the dock. It wasn't like a massive lake where you couldn't see the other side. So she was shining her light that was on top of her head. She had switched it to its brightest setting, and she saw something that was wading to about its thighs in the water that looked like a Dogman. And she, in the email, she was really funny. She was like, I screamed things out of my mouth that I have never said in my entire life. I was so petrified. I was, screaming expletives, and I didn't even know what to do. She said, so I had a water balloon in my hand. I dropped it. I ran with everything I had in me. She goes, halfway through the woods, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you going to tell people? Are you going to actually tell people that you saw this thing that looks like a werewolf? She's like, mind you, at the time, I did not know what Dogman was, so I didn't even know what to call it. I knew it looked like a werewolf, and that's pretty much it. She's like, and that is literally what it looked like. She's like, if you're wondering what it looked like to a T, she's like, literally, it looked like a werewolf. She's like, I wish I could give you more, but it was dark. I was scared. I saw it for maybe 15 seconds before I ran away. She's like, it was tall, it was big, it was massive, it was definitely a dark color. She said, I know it had pointy ears. I know it was huge and massive, and it was staring right at her. She said its eyes were kind of like a greenish yellowish color, from what she could tell when her flashlight hit the eyes of this creature, and she ran. So anyway, she said she was in the middle of the woods, and she was debating with herself what she was going to tell people as to why she was so worked up and so upset. She's like, and I was literally crying because I was so afraid. And I kept looking behind me. She's like, I didn't hear that thing come out of the water. I didn't hear anything behind me, but I was being paranoid and afraid. I didn't know. Maybe it was chasing me. Maybe it wasn't. But it wasn't. And so she says she calms herself down. She gets like very close to where the cabins are, and she decides that she's not going to tell anybody about this. So she composes herself. She goes in. She said the girl who was a camp counselor, who was one of her good friends, knew something was wrong when she walked in the door, but she said, I just didn't tell her. I couldn't tell her. She's like, it was just too out there to tell her. So I didn't say anything. And she's like, I made up something. She didn't remember what it was as to why she looked so upset. But anyway, she said, I think a week later, I want to say, there was a group of kids who were down by the lake, and they had all come back very upset, crying, wanted to go home, wanted to call their parents, that they had seen the same thing. And she said that was her last year. She never went back. Her friend, who she had been with, that year, had gone back for another year to be a camp counselor. And she said, my friend told me that whatever this thing is that kids are seeing, another camp counselor saw the year that she didn't go and went home immediately. It was a guy. He said he was never coming back. And that what the kids had said was true. It was real. And basically he left in a panic. It was this big, tough guy, I guess. And they were all like shocked because this was so out of character for this guy. And I guess he saw the same thing too, and he just immediately left. He just completely just up and said, screw this, I'm out. So that's a really interesting encounter. I don't know why it would be in a place like that, though. I mean, maybe it lives somewhere around there, and it just has gotten to a point where maybe it doesn't care if people see it for a quick second. I'm not sure. Thank you, though, for sharing that encounter with us, because that was a really interesting encounter. And I don't know if I've really ever heard of them being in water before. Maybe it wasn't gonna swim, though. Maybe it was just cooling off or something. Maybe because if it was in the middle of summer, maybe it was just hot and it was trying to cool down just like a person. I don't know. I find that very, very, very interesting, though. I don't know why. Maybe every time somebody saw it, it was near the water. Maybe it goes there to get water, to drink, to maybe that's where it gets its water from. I'm not sure. I think it's really interesting, though. It kind of sounds like something they could make a movie of, like a camp for kids, and there's a monster that's terrorizing the camp. I think that's, how come no one has ever made a movie about Dogman, like a serious, honest to God, good film? Why is that? I don't know. Just like Bigfoot, too. There's not ever really been, at least to my knowledge. If there is, please tell me below in the comments, because I haven't seen it. Harry and the Hendersons was hilarious. It is absolutely the funniest movie ever. My daughter loves that movie. It's super cute, super funny. But I mean like a realistic movie, like something where, you could watch and be like, gosh, wow, I wonder if that's real. I wonder if that's true. Like a movie that leaves people thinking like that. But for some reason, we've never had a big blockbuster type film of cryptids or anything like that. So I don't know. It's strange. I don't know why no one's attempted to do that. Maybe there just isn't enough interest. I'm not sure, but I think there would be. Oh, that's right. I had another one, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to tell you guys before I get to where I'm going. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you for all of your comments, because some of your comments just make my day. They make me smile, they make me laugh, they make me think, which is what my channel is made to do. Okay, this is not just... I want this channel to literally... I want you to feel when you're on my channel like we're all actually sitting somewhere together having a discussion. I want it to be interactive. I want it to be a back and forth between me and all of you, and even you all amongst yourselves. I want it to be a discussion and not just a place where you come and watch a video and leave. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I love those channels that, do all that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, I would like my channel to be a little bit more interactive. And I think I told you guys this in another video, but I wanted to also film a couple places that are in my area where people have seen things, and show you guys the actual locations of some of these places. Not that we'll probably, be lucky enough to actually get anything on film. That would be just too lucky. But, I mean, that'd be pretty cool if it happened, but highly doubtful. But anyways, you could see just the area of it. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know why that reminded me, but it did. Somebody in the comments asked me about what I meant when I said, please don't compare me to her. So let me explain if you have no idea what I'm talking about. In one of my older videos, a lady had posted and said that she loved my channel and all my content, but please don't become like a Cat Hansen. I don't even want to say her name. I feel so bad. I know what she did was wrong and terrible, but I just don't like talking bad about people. But anyways, I said, no, of course not. There's no way I won't. And then it got a lot of comments from other people being like, what is she talking about? Who is that? What does that mean? If you don't know who she is, I'm sure you can look her up. Her name is Cat Hansen. She had a YouTube channel. She had gone on other cryptid channels. I had heard her on Vic, I think, for the first time, and shared some crazy encounters. No comment. But anyways, someone by the name of Bigfoot Tony had been told about some of her evidence, her photographic evidence of Sasquatch, I believe. And it took him probably all of 2 seconds, I'm assuming, to put her photos in reverse Google image search, and found that her pictures were, in fact, not, the Sasquatch that she had named and said that she had all these encounters with, but that they were... One of them in particular was a gorilla at a zoo somewhere, and literally down to the leaf in front of this thing's face, it was the same picture, identical to a T, with the exception that she took the photo and expanded it a little bit to make the face look a little bit different. But the background and everything else was the picture from the zoo of a gorilla. So basically, I don't know if everything she ever said was false, or if she just fabricated some pictures to, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I can't tell you either way because I don't know. I can tell you, though, that sometimes when things seem a little bit too out there and a little bit too crazy, it's because they are. And I think if you just go with your gut on certain people, you'll probably find that your gut is almost always right. I know that about halfway through her encounter on Vic's channel, I was like, okay, something's not right here. And it was just, it's just a feeling you get. That's the only way I know how to describe it. You will get a feeling sometimes about people, and this is for anything. It doesn't have to be just cryptid related. And when you get that weird feeling in your gut where you're just like, no, I don't think so, just listen to it. Just good advice. Just always listen to your gut. Anyways, guys, I gotta get off here because I'm here now. So gosh, now I'm so self-conscious about the ums. So I will upload this, and then I will upload my other video that I did earlier today. Later, I finally finished that one too. Thank you. Love every single one of you. You're amazing, wonderful people. So much love, and have a good day, evening, morning, whatever. Bye-bye.